There you are. Hey, you got the Fear the Turtle.
That's right.
Well, that's
I
why
like the Raven shirt.
yeah, I'm originally from Starner Park, Maryland. So
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, that's why I saw. I was like, Charm City comic book. I got to interview this guy.
Awesome. Do you go to Severna Park High School?
I did, class of '98. Yeah.
Oh, one of my very good friends graduated class of 99.
Oh wow. What about what
Awesome.
about yourself? Where did you grow up?
I'm from Olney. I don't know if you're familiar with Olney.
No.
It's like halfway between DC and Baltimore. My mom's from Baltimore, so I spent a lot of time there growing up.
Yeah, my mom grew up in
Um,
the city, so yeah.
yeah, and I graduated class of 99. So
Very cool, man.
there
Well, I'm
it is.
excited to get into Charm City. Before we do that, though, here at Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passions. Where did your passion for comic books come from that led you on this amazing journey? Was there an issue you read or something that was attached
Yes,
to you as a child, you know?
yes. I mean, I've already dated myself by,
Me too.
class of
It's
99, but
okay.
I was 11 years old at Greg Schuster's birthday party. Shout out to, a friend I haven't talked to in 30 odd years. Uh, and I knew comics existed. Like, I would get them as care packages at camp. And I was always like, oh, the story doesn't end. It's to be continued. And I never in my mind thought that I could actually just go out and buy the next issue. Like as a kid, it just never occurred to me. So the party favors for the birthday, and this is when X-Men the animated series was huge. Were X-Men comics, and I got Uncanny X-Men number 298, the Acolyte's Return. If you're up on your X-Men history,
Yeah.
it was I want to say it was John Romita Jr. was on art, and it was either Fabian Kiza or Scott Lobdell scripting. Probably Scott Lobdell, but don't quote me on that. And that was it. It just totally hooked my imagination. There was a comic book store. It was about a 20-minute walk from where I grew up, and that was it. I was hooked. And that's how comics became my passion.
Very cool. Well, let's flash forward now to Charm City. You kind of
Sure.
talk about the story behind it. Obviously, there's influence from Baltimore, you know?
Sure. So Charm City's kind of a weird one,
Yeah.
in that it's exceptionally personal, it's exceptionally grounded, but it's about magic and rock and roll and Baltimore. Um, yeah, it's a serial killer murder mystery, where a serial killer is stalking the streets of Baltimore, carving these weird symbols into his victim's chest, or her victim's chest, I should say.
Mhm.
Um, and what the police don't know is all of the victims are witches, part of this secret underground society that's been living amongst us for generations. And the lead character was a witch who was excommunicated from her. Uh, we don't even call them covens. She was just excommunicated. Um, and she gets pulled back in, kind of like The Godfather, when somebody very close to her in her family is murdered. So it's also kind of like this family drama on top of a supernatural murder mystery. My big influences are Harry Potter, of course, but aged up. This is certainly a book for mature readers. Um, and also Batman: The Long Halloween, which is,
Oh,
my
yeah.
all-time favorite murder mystery in a comic book.
That was a good one. Very cool. So does it take place like present day in like Baltimore City or
Yes,
okay, cool.
yes, present day Baltimore, but because my music influences are all a little dated because I'm old, um, a bunch of my friends were like, "This feels like the '90s," but it's not.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I'm a huge 90s alternative rock grunge kid, you know? Like, so is there any
Cool.
fun influences in that, I guess, in there for the rock and roll?
Oh, a ton. I've put a playlist in there. And we'll see if Scout lets me get away with it. But as far as I know, it's happening.
Uh-huh.
I'm putting QR codes throughout the book, so you can just click on your phone and hear some tracks as you read.
Okay. So I know there was exclusive first look at what San Diego Comic-Con at their Scout Comics booth. So what is the latest? When is it actually going to be available, or is it out now?
That's so the exclusive first look. I still have copies if people want to hit me up if they're interested. I don't know what Scout has, if they're going to have it at other shows. The first look was the first half of the first issue. The first issue, it's going to be a 5-issue miniseries.
Nice.
The first 2 issues are done, or almost done. We're doing like last looks. I'm also lettering the book, so I'm tweaking all of that. Actually, that's my day today.
Oh wow.
We don't have an official release yet. My guess is either sometime later this year or early next year, the first issue should drop.
Very cool. Anything else in the works you're allowed to talk about before I let you go?
Sure. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this because this isn't Scout.
Go ahead.
But I have a book that just came out, published by Darby Pop Publishing, titled let me get this right because we just changed the title. The Very Final Last Girls. It's a horror book about the girls who survive horror films, and what happens next. So like the girl from Nightmare on Elm Street, the girl from Saw, the girl from Friday the 13th, the girl from Dawn of the Dead. Obviously, I don't use those exact movies or monsters, but if you're familiar with the tropes, you'll get what I'm referencing. It's a horror book about what happens next to the survivors. In my opinion, after surviving a traumatic experience like that, there should be some sort of rehabilitation program for these young women.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
then
The post-traumatic
book,
got to be horrible.
Exactly. So I mean, it's kind of like tone wise, it's Buffy.
Cool. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to me. We'll talk down.
I'll reach out in a few months.
All right, man. Take care.
All right. Have a good one.